Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday night panel. Even though we didn't have a game on Saturday, we still decided to have the panel, and we'll do a review of the season so far. So joining Vic tonight, we're very pleased to have Dion Conroy on with us. So I'll bring him on in a short while. Just a couple of things. The trip to Newport on Saturday, I have been asked to just reiterate what is needed to get into the ground, because it's hopefully it's going to be a crowd of over 4,000. There are some restrictions, so you have to have a electronic or a paper copy of your COVID passport. That's with your QIR codes of your vaccinations. Or a recent negative lateral flow test. So that'll be your email from the NHS to say that you've reported it as negative. Okay, I'll repeat that at the end as well. Okay, right, let's bring Vic on. Good evening, Vic.
Very good evening to you, Chris. How are you this evening?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you okay?
Well, I've been battling trying to get my application for a free bus pass sorted this afternoon, so I'm a little bit frustrated, quite frankly.
Things we have to do.
I know.
Well, I had my COVID booster this afternoon, so hopefully I'm as perky tomorrow as I am now. So
very perky. That's good to know.
Okay. Okay, shall we bring Mr. Conroy on? Yes. Hiya, Dion.
Hi guys, how are we?
We're all good.
All right.
How are you?
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good.
Good.
Very good.
Okay, so everybody, I'm going to leave you with Vic and Dion. If there's any questions, please then leave them in the comments. As usual, we will get through as many as we can, and we'll be seeing you later. Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
Chris, thanks very much indeed. Dion, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. And thanks to Bailey and to Andrew for sorting this out. Very grateful. So very good of you. Let's take you back a few months. The last time we spoke to you was at the end of season awards and nobody was sure what on earth was going on. Then you had that period in June when you wouldn't have had a clue what was going on. What was going through your mind at that time?
Obviously, start of pre-season was... it was a funny one because obviously there wasn't a lot of players. Obviously, what happened to the club last year, and it was a very strange feeling. Just with a few of us that was here, and obviously there was no manager, and it was kind of tough. But to be fair, the group of boys that was here, we're all very professional. We all got good heads on us, and we all kind of just got on with what we needed to do, and we just kind of. We all had a feeling that everything was going to work out, and then luckily it did, and everyone was ready to go. Everyone was fit, so it was just kind of it was a weird feeling. It was a weird feeling. None of us have ever experienced it before. I don't think many players have ever experienced that. So it was good to kind of get everything sorted and get into the season really.
Yeah, we've spoken to Steve Mildenhall because he was telling us about one particularly mad Friday when just about everybody had gone. Chief executive had gone. You had no manager. You'd no director of football. Basically, you didn't know what was going on. And Danny Lee also was in a similar vein. Did you ever think this isn't going to happen, or were you confident all the way through?
I don't know why. I was kind of confident all the way through that things were going to sort themselves out. It was just the message was every day to all the other boys is just keep doing our work, keep staying fit. We're still on the contract, so we got to do that. Positive heads on us and just got on with things really.
Well, let me take you forward a few weeks and Scunthorpe United away. Those of us who were there, what an afternoon that was. We've seen our club basically disappearing and then Scunthorpe away. What were your feelings that afternoon?
Obviously, prior to that, with the recruitment that we had done, the players that we've got in, it's an incredible squad really for League Two. So it was just about the preparations that we wasn't able to do in pre-season. Obviously, we only had a few weeks with the gaffer and all the new players. So it was trying to fit that all together. And it kind of just clicked as soon as everyone got together. The chemistry was already there. the feeling after that game was amazing, and I think we didn't want to get too carried away. And we've put in a lot of work since then, and it's kind of everything's kind of paying off at the minute. So that feeling from that, obviously Saturday to 5-6 weeks before was night and day. So yeah, it was a great start to the season, and we were kind of obviously we knew there was a few more players coming in and stuff like that. So everyone was kind of everyone felt on top of the world. Like the mood was incredible, really. It was strange being from like I said 5 weeks ago to not knowing if we could get a team out to then have that team was it was a pretty special feeling. So yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the Macclesfield documentary, but I was kind of watching that yesterday about how Macclesfield had gone through this process of going under and then revitalising. And it was a lot of comparisons with Swindon and Macclesfield because they virtually didn't have a club, and yet they've come back and, in a lower league, clearly. But, that band of I don't know, 5, 6, 7 people who were there all the way through this, has that gone stronger, that bond?
Definitely. I think that was kind of... yeah, I think it is. But obviously the players that were here from the start, we were kind of the ones that last year as well that kind of tried to keep things together. So that bond has always been pretty strong between that core of players. But the ones that we've added as well, the core of the team, it's everyone really. It's just I don't think I've really been in a change room as good as this. So. You got to take your hats off really to the recruitment and the players that we've got together. It feels special. So hopefully we can keep on improving week in, week out. Everyone's working hard, and hopefully now with the amount of games we've got coming up in the next few weeks, we can put some good performances and kind of climb up that table and obviously get through to the next rounds of each competition that we're in.
Well, Swindon fans are not used to being in the second round of competitions, as you well know. It's rather extraordinary. This is from Helen. Amazing, Captain Marvel. A lot of these comments coming in. From Sharon, thank you for staying and for being a fantastic captain. From Carol, thank you, Dion, for keeping faith and sticking with us. And from Shane, Dion's been class all season and should be playing a lot higher. Best ball playing centre-back in the league. Now, these are from people who watch you week in, week out. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, amazing. That's why we play football, for the fans and stuff like that. So obviously to hear them comments is incredible. So it just makes you realise all the work you're doing is worth it. So I'm pleased to kind of, obviously we've only got so far into this season, but we're kind of trying to make what happened last year. We're trying to correct that and make things right. So we just got to keep working hard and not get ahead of ourselves, and keep performing for the fans that watch us every week. So yeah.
We've talked to you before about last season and the events of it and how the club was in a dark place. I mean, I would imagine, you said chalk and cheese earlier. My goodness, the comparison between this and 12 months ago must be extraordinary, mustn't it?
Yeah. Obviously 12 months ago, I was still, I think I literally had just come out my operation on my first Achilles. So I wasn't in and around it every day. I think when Richie Wellings was still here, it was still manageable. It was still seen positive. But yeah, as soon as he left, it kind of, that went really downhill. And to look at where we are now to where last year is honestly incredible. So all the hard work everyone in the background's been putting in as well has just been incredible. And we're just looking forward now to just kick on and kind of having another incredible season, repeat what we did a couple of years ago. So
yeah, and you'd like to see that season through, which you couldn't do a couple of seasons ago, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, if I might bring up one thorny subject, and that's home form, because you'll be aware that you're top of the league in away form. If I might put it, bottom of the league in home form, which is a strange and odd thing. What do you put that down to?
I think that's the question everyone's asking. I think if we all knew, we would do it. I don't know. I think we're just kind of, maybe we seem to maybe play a bit too open, a bit too expanded. But it's not like we're not a lot of the games we've played very well at home and we haven't got the results, or we've played very well in spells of the game where it's incredible football. I think I'm honestly not too sure. I think we're working hard every day and we're trying to see what the difference is from when we play away to when we play at home. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I think we kind of get a lot of pressure on from the fan. Not that the fans are putting pressure on, but I think we feel with the big crowds and we want to impress quite a bit. I think going forward, I think it could be just nerves. It could be just nerves. So hopefully that will change in the next couple months. Obviously, this time of this season is probably the most important part for trying to create that gap at the top, that sort of top 3, top 4. So it's going to be quite vital now. The home form, obviously, try and get a few wins and kind of change that, because obviously if we can change that form, then we could run away with the season with how we've been playing away. So yeah, we just got to stick with it. We got to keep working hard, and I'm sure things will change because the fans are incredible when we play at home. So yeah, we just need to kind of figure out what that is, and yeah, we'll be fine after that.
Yeah, you'll be aware of the away following, of course. I see your parents are there every week watching you play, wherever it is, Oldham, Crewe. Yeah. You mention it, you name it. I mean, those performances have been excellent, haven't they? And, what's your favourite one so far this season? That's from David. What game have you enjoyed the most? I mean, we've talked to you before, and we always draw a comparison with Leyton Orient away a few seasons ago, which was almost perfection. So what game would you pick up this season?
I wouldn't say it was it definitely wasn't our best game, but I would kind of pick out Salford away. Probably the only game where we haven't kind of dominated the ball and played nowhere near our best, and we still managed to get a 1-0 win. So I think that kind of shows the other side of what this team can do. We can dig in and get the result. So I think the feeling after that game when we won, yeah, the feeling was quite special after that game from everyone. Everyone was buzzing with that. So personally, for me to play in a game that we were not really in to get the clean sheet and win, I'd kind of pick that as the kind of not the standout as in the best performance, but it shows the other side that we can do the other side. So I think teams could maybe think they could roll us over and that would be it, but that's obviously not the case. So I would pick Salford away.
Yeah,
so far, yeah.
If I remember right, the game management was particularly good in that towards the end, wasn't it? And
yeah, very good, very good.
I don't want to mention the little kerfuffle by the dugouts, but that certainly helped, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Johnny Williams knows what he's doing. He's been about a bit, so
yeah. This is a question from Tim. How does Dion compare Ben with the other 5 or 6 managers at Swindon? I get the impression that Ben Garner wants to quietly get on with the football, ignore the media side of things. Is that a fair statement or not? He just quietly wants to get on with the game, doesn't he?
I think so, and obviously as a manager coming into where we kind of started this season, that there was no expectations on us. It was just to try and stay up. Is what kind of I didn't believe that, but obviously that was kind of the what everyone kind of thought outside the club and obviously the fans, which is obviously right because we only had a few players leading up to the start of the season. So I think the gaffer's trying to not put too much pressure on the players because we know how well we've started, and we can definitely take up a few more gears, definitely. So I think it's just trying to not put too much pressure on us and just let us play our football. We work hard during the week. Definitely, it's probably the most kind of the most time and effort put into the training ground I've been a part of with all the managers here. So he knows his stuff and he knows the way he wants to play, and everyone's bought into it. And obviously you can see from the performances that we put in that it's working. But like I said, we can still we can raise it a few more gears. So
yeah. Lovely. Well, I'm well aware that you've got to go in a minute, so and bear with me because my wife's phone is making a strange noise down below me. This question's come in, and maybe you can answer. This is from Andy. Is that a manga on Dion's wall? I'm not really sure what that is, but if you could explain.
It's just it's a cartoon sort of. It's a Japanese cartoon I used to watch when I was younger, and my mum painted it, so that's
wow, that's
yeah,
extraordinary.
So it's kind of a personal thing as well. So yeah, she's very
that is amazing. Yeah. This is from Terry, and I think any of us who were there at Oldham will recognise what he's saying. Thank you for looking after my great nephew Link at Oldham. It was a very special day for us all. The whole family is so grateful to you, and it really was a very emotional time for you, I think, wasn't it?
100%. Yeah. Obviously, when you hear about things like that, and when you meet Link and his family, it's just very, very, very humbling. So obviously, I had my friend who kind of is just he's beaten cancer at the time being, but obviously for the first couple of months of the season, he was struggling with it, and it's just it's very, everything's just very humbling. You just realize what the bigger picture is in life, and you just want to how you just need to realize how important your family, your health, and all that is, and it kind of just makes you grateful for everything. So that was an amazing experience to meet him. He's a tough little man, and our thoughts and prayers are all with his family and him. So yeah.
Very much so. Harry Mccurdy, just a quick question about that. What's it like having Harry Mccurdy in the dressing room? I mean, he's got a great relation with the fans, hasn't he? Yeah. Tell us about that a bit quickly, if you could.
He. I've not quite met someone like Harry Mccurdy. He's a top guy. He works very, very hard. In every training session, he gives everything. But yeah, you couldn't really put your finger on it. He's just a very bubbly, energetic person, and he's always kind of the center of attention, and he's the one making all the jokes, and I'm sure, as all the fans can see through Twitter and Instagram, he kind of says what's on his mind, and which is a good thing in a way, because he's very black and white. You know where you stand with him. So I got a lot of time for him. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, we're going to let you go because I know you've got to go. So just finally, this is from Dave the Chair, a very loyal fan. Thank you so much for staying with us. Keep going, boys. You're playing really well. And there's a really nice one here from Steve. Thank you for staying. You are royalty, Dion. So and I think that sums up town fans feeling for you. Yeah. So good luck. That's all we can say. I know you've got to go. Good luck for the rest of the season. And thank you very much, Dee, for joining us this evening, Dion. Great to talk to you as always.
Thank you for having me. Anytime, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dion. And as you probably can imagine, we've had lots and lots of other comments and things. So what I'll do is I'll just put them together and send them through to Andrew so he can pass them over to you. So
whenever you want me again, just let me know. I'm always free. Usually anyway, yeah. So.
Brilliant.
Right, well, you take up on that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
See you soon.
Take it easy. Cheers.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, Vic, can we bring on...
I'm just going to... You do that. I'm going to move this telephone because it's annoying me now. It's an alarm on a phone. Just bear with me.
Right. Okay, so while Vic does that, I will introduce the panel. So we have a new gentleman tonight. So let's introduce Liam. Hi, Liam. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Thank you.
Good.
I'm nervous, but well woken up by Vic's alarm clock.
Yeah, I think everybody is. So I'm sure Vic will be very gentle with you, so don't worry about it. And we'll have the veterans on now. So we've got James, we've got Johnny. So there we go. So I'm going to leave you to it. Again, if there's any questions or anything, just leave them, and then we'll get through as many as we can. Okay, are you okay now, Vic?
I think so, Chris. Yes, I've dispatched the phone. Yes.
Okay, I'll speak to you later.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee, Chris. Lots of questions and comments coming in for Dion, as you can imagine, and we will forward them on to the town captain. Liam, welcome. Thank you very much. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been watching the town?
Since 13th of March, 1971.
Do you want to be more specific?
Leicester City, we lost 1-0, and they went on to win the championship that year.
Against?
Leicester.
Oh,
It's
gosh.
always Leicester, isn't it? Always Leicester.
Always Leicester. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that game. I probably was there, but I can't, can't for the life of me remember.
They had Peter Shilton and David Nish, and I looked it up today because I couldn't remember who scored because I was only 8 and a bit. And Bobby Kellard scored the winner.
Bobby Kellard, goodness me, absolutely. Well, welcome. Nice to have you along.
I'm a season ticket holder the last 25 years. Go as much as I can, largely home games. Away games more difficult with family stuff and everything else. So only a couple of seasons, but I've got Swindon bad.
Well, there we are. A season ticket holder for 25 years. Well done, I think we can say. James, welcome to you, a veteran for these panels. How are we?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Vic. Very good.
I've already got a question in about ground and possible ownership and that. So I'll get you on that in a minute. Johnny, welcome. Gosh, it must be a bit boring at the minute. I mean, let's be honest. The town are 7th. All right, they can't win at home. I suppose we could all moan about that. We just talked to Dion about that. But it is a bit dull, isn't it, at the minute? I mean, it's going well.
I jokingly said that the other day to Andrew after, I think it was after Crew. I mean, I tweeted it as well. I said, there's no jeopardy in these away games, so you're not nervous anymore. The home games, you're thinking, well, I don't know what to ask him. Like, it's the same thing. It's getting all right, isn't it? Back page, still going well.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Well, anyway, there we go. Right, let's talk about the season then. And let's kick off on the opening day. Johnny, you were there, obviously, reporting for the Advertiser. We weren't sure what to expect, quite frankly. And we've been through this awful time during the summer. And from what Dion just said, it must have been a fantastic atmosphere in that dressing room. It was an amazing atmosphere at the away end. What were your feelings that day?
I can't really remember. I remember sort of little bits where, without kind of getting too hyperbolic about it, it felt a bit dreamy. It felt a bit, like I don't think I was ever as scared as some people that we were going to lose the club. I think I don't know. Maybe that's just the optimist in me, or maybe I was kind of knew little bits. You just felt like Clem was kind of coming and save the day, but even still, like Dion said, we had about 6 players at one point, and then you're thinking, if we can just get a competitive team, and if we compete in that opening day of the game over the season, you probably take that. And then to kind of, we're still in it at half time and thinking, this is going all right. Scunthorpe are there for the taking it because the fan in you takes over. And then it was the point when, I think we talked about this before, the point where the penalty goes in, and they had every right to just go, these things happen. We haven't really got teams, so we might as well not bother. And Town came straight back, and they absolutely dominated. I think it was like the last 30 to 40 minutes of that game. I think it was the point when Mccurdy scored that I just sort of everyone celebrated. I think I'd celebrated the first and the second one, but I just sort of laughed. You just sort of, we're going in. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, I love this club so much. It's so much fun to write about them. I just think it doesn't happen to many clubs that you're basically going out of existence, and then the next thing you know, we're I think we were top of the league after the first round.
We were top of the league, absolutely, yeah.
Just standard Swindon, doesn't it? It was a bit, to sum up, it was just quite a dreamy day, really. You just kind of floated back down the M6 and M4, wherever we were, other side of the country. But yeah.
Yeah, as I said to Dion, top of the league for away form, bottom of the league for home form, which is a very strange. And usually it's the other way around, isn't it? Let's be honest. Leon, what were your thoughts at the beginning of the season? Because we talked on this panel almost endlessly about how we'd just be happy to finish above the dotted line. That would be our priority this season. But hey, suddenly this season's taken off, and we're thinking, hang on, if we don't get automatic promotion, we'll be disappointed.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you all the podcasts, the ones that generally just look at the EFL, they all put us second bottom, and there we were playing one of the favourites to be bottom, and we walked all over them. So from there onwards, it just felt so much better. And what was it, 2 years ago under Wellens, wasn't it? We played them as well, didn't we? And we beat them off apart that game as well. Yeah. I remember. I think just to add to that, it just hearing what Dion had to say, and also what's going on. I mean, Johnny, as you said, that it's been so quiet, but it's so quiet because it's so well organised. in all those times that I've been watching Swindon, I have never seen, Vic, this will bring you back. Do you remember the days of RJ Jeffries and all this lot?
Yeah,
club
yes.
secretary and all that?
Yes, I do. Very much.
Well-run club in the 70s. I don't think I've seen the club run so well since then. Look at all the debacles we've had, from demotions to under-the-counter payments to everything else. And this has been so much better. And I think that the performance on the pitch is matching what seems to be the performance from the club itself, really. Some really good, James, you'll know better than me, but because of the dealings you have with them, but it just seems like a professional outfit. And that's, we've got to be professional on the pitch to get out, but we've got to be professional off the pitch to stay up and stay in place, really. And I've been really impressed with all of that. And so it's just been quite relaxing, which we don't normally have as Swindon Town fans, do we?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that to me. It's a long way to go in the season yet. From Pete, good effort with the shirts, Liam. Well done. A 1960s one and a Premier League one, if I'm not much mistaken. Is that right?
Oh, the one the year before, wasn't it?
Oh, the one the year before. That's right. Yeah. Right. This is from Andy. How important would a couple of decent cut runs be, considering our lack of success over the last few years? James, I'll put that one to you, because we're unbeaten in cup ties this season. I don't, even at Cambridge, it was penalties that decided it, so we didn't lose the game, which is a rare and beautiful thing for a Swindon fan, isn't it?
I cannot remember the last time we actually did half decent in a cup competition, other than one of the kind of the minor ones. I mean, the pizza one, the other, generally the FA Cup or whatever, we generally get knocked out in the first round, don't we? And I remember going to Cheltenham a few years ago, and we got stung 5-0, didn't we? I think.
Ooh, yes.
And I was just like, we're never ever going to win another cup competition ever. A cup game and get out the first round. So, I think there's a couple of things, isn't there? One is it builds confidence, additional confidence in the players. Two, I think also Clem will be quite happy because the extra pennies will help. Because obviously you get paid, you get money for winning and getting through to the next round. And if you get a tie on TV, obviously you get extra money for that. So, but I think all those things are great. And I think I heard one of the players say that they want to get to the final of the I'll keep on calling it the Johnston's Patro. You know what I mean. The pizza one. Just go to the pizza trophy. They basically the players want to get to the final of that, because I think ultimately they've got a really good opportunity to to get to Wembley. I'm assuming it's at Wembley again, and do really well. So, I mean, when I can't remember our players for such a long time saying that they think they can get to a final of a cup competition. I mean, getting into the second round would be a benefit, but it'd be a bonus, wouldn't it?
If you remember, you mentioned Cheltenham. If you remember, a couple of seasons back, we went there in the cup and we went up with a minute left and scored, and we're all going, "We're going to win at Cheltenham. We're going to win it." Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to win at Cheltenham. Actually, this is an interesting one, Johnny, on the subject of cups. From Sean, why have we been given only 1,500 for Walsall? Doesn't it hold more? I thought clubs get more for cup games. I think it's more to do with the actual distribution of the money, isn't it, rather than the allocation of tickets. Do we get 25% of the tickets or what? I
think that's still a rule, because I think I asked the same question at Crew, but I'm pretty sure you guys had that entire side stand, didn't I? I think you get up to 25%. But I think that they were only given so many initially, and then if we needed more, like if we sold them out, we could ask for more. But I think it's just a case of you get that initial allocation, and then it's kind of based on interest and things.
Because I think we played there a few years ago in the league, and we had the away end behind the goal, and then part of the side stand as well, if I remember rightly, Walsall, on the day it snowed. Sorry, James, you're going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the away end, one of my work colleagues is a Walsall fan, and I'm pretty sure he said the away end's 2,000.
Right.
So yeah, I'm surprised. I'm wondering if the away end issues that we apparently have reduced our away ticket allocations in certain other clubs has kind of found its way to Walsall. I don't know.
We played them about 3 or 4 years ago away in April, and we got relegated based on that. And we brought about 2,000 to that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Because I remember that one. I actually went to that one.
It's
me
cold
too.
and we got beat 1-0. This from Andy. I was at that game as a lad, referring to Liam's first game. Leicester kindly let me on their team bus to get autographs. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? This from Lee. Have a feeling Walsall will release more if needed. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Yeah, 1,500 is an initial allocation. Time to remind people of Johnny's prediction. Would any of the panelists join him now in that prediction? Let's go back to the start of the season. Johnny Leafield from the Swindon Advertiser. What was your prediction while we were all saying we're going to go down? What was your prediction?
Oh, God, someone else brought this up and it wasn't me. Thanks, Dad. I think I can't remember if I said we get automatically promoted or in the playoffs. I think I said we'd get in the playoffs.
Yes, you did.
We get in the playoffs like straight away because I'm not sure. I was trying to think about this earlier. Like, what were my reasons at the time? I know I had a good reason because I just felt like I wasn't saying it to be, controversial. I genuinely felt it at the time, but can't remember why. I guess it must have just been, the fact that we turned it around so quickly. There was a couple of early results. The squad is, you could see there was. I don't think I quite foresaw the likes of Louis Reed, Jojo Wallacott, Johnny Williams, that kind of thing coming off as being the players that they are. But I don't know. I said they're getting the playoffs, and I'd be very disappointed right now if you took me forward to May and we weren't in there.
I went to see Exeter play on Saturday against Oldham. Gosh, Oldham again. And they look very good. The crowd is great at St James Park. I tell you, the atmosphere is fantastic. Boxing Day is going to be a huge match. They've got Bradford City in the Cup tomorrow. 18 games unbeaten, Liam, Exeter. They're a side to watch, aren't they? There are one or two decent teams at the top.
Yeah, they're managed by Matt Taylor, aren't they? Like most
They
of
are.
the league are. Because there's two Matt Taylors, isn't there, in that league? Obviously the Walsall one. Yeah, I went there the last time we played there, and it's a great little atmosphere. But they only had three sides then. It reminded me of that place up the road where the Yellow and Blues play, with only three sides. But I think they finally built that stand.
They have.
I think they'll do well. Johnny, I was with you. I thought top seven. I did think top seven, and then I thought when we signed Johnny Williams, I thought, top three, and I still feel that. I still think top three.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Liam, if we could only sort our home form out, we, as Dion said, we'd be running away with the league, quite frankly, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
What do you think is the problem?
Pre-season, sorry, Vic. Remember the pre-season favourites was Bradford, was Forest Green, and I'm trying to think who else was in there. It was Exeter because it's always Exeter.
I think it was Bristol Rovers. It was just teams with the biggest budgets. It was like that was it. There's no real thought. One thing I would say about Town being like not odds on to go down is, in the defence of my fellow professionals, at the time it was like absolutely fine. It was completely what's the word? Yeah, it was understandable because we had no money, no players, no nothing, and I think also it gets printed a month earlier. So at that point we were, we'd have been lucky, been grateful to have been in the league. So yeah, those things are usually just based on budgets and kind of things at the time.
The only thing I've ever been worried about is points deduction, to be honest.
Well, let's find out from James the definitive answer to that, because he's a bright boy and he knows all this stuff. I've got another question for you as well, James. So here we go. This is from Steve. He says, "Hi Vic, went to Cyprus. It was hell. Not a cloud in sight all week." There you go. Don't come to us with your problems. Now, are the club looking for donations for ground purchase, and how much will the club save on rent when we own the ground? That's from Steve. Now, the trust has been involved with the club on the possible buying of the ground. Where are we at with that right now?
Yeah, good question. So the answer to the other question about how much will we save, about 200,000 a year is the approximate rent we pay the council. I think it's 180 to 200. It's fluctuated a little bit, but that's generally in the ballpark. In terms of where we're at, everything's progressing really well, actually. Essentially, there's all the legal things that have had to happen, because the joint venture that you all remember that I think we probably explained that we'd gone into with the football club under the previous ownership, i.e. Mr. Power and Mr. Anderson, we had to redo that because obviously the joint venture, we couldn't use the same vehicle ultimately to purchase with those two individuals still as shareholders. So we've had to go through the legal process of setting up another company for the joint venture to purchase the ground with the football club. So that's happening. The current ETA, really, which I think all parties seem pretty confident about, is February, March time next year, for the completion of the purchase to actually happen. So at the moment, it's there's a little bit of looking at the value of the county ground. So because the valuation that was done when we previously looked to purchase, and obviously with the COVID period, obviously that's delayed things. So it's like anything really. When you sell if you try to look to sell your house, ultimately if it's a year and a half further down the line, you get a revaluation done by a estate agent just to make sure that the value hasn't changed, or it has, and obviously put it on for hire. So the football club and the trust have paid for a new evaluation of the cost, as have Borough Council. And we're just waiting for the final results for that to come in for us to agree on effectively a final price. Personally, I mean, this is only my personal opinion, by the way. I don't think it's going to move much from where it was before. But the council have to be seen to be obviously getting the most value from it. So it's a legal thing which you have to do and tick in the box. So once that's essentially done and they've agreed on a final price, then all of the motions can happen then for the joint purchase. And as I said, February, March time is looking very, very doable. So
yeah, there's got a comment here. So, do we need to raise our 50% before the February timeframe mentioned in the advisory board minutes? And this goes back to Steve's point: would donations be part of that, or is the money already in place?
It's a tricky one. The money is potentially already in place, but we are still going to. People will still be able to purchase a part of the ground in terms of what was. So nothing's changed in terms of us offering fans the opportunity to purchase a part of the county ground. That will still happen, but the money is not necessarily needed to purchase up front.
Okay, and just quickly on that other point about the court case and points deduction, which Liam brought up just now. As I understand it, that court case is now May at the earliest. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been put off for at least 12 months.
Yeah.
The football club have basically been removed from any of the mentions, if you like, in the court papers. So essentially it's power versus standing with no football club kind of mentions. But obviously the outcome of that court case still could have an impact on the football club, but with it being put off for 12 months, it will mean that any implications won't be applied this season. So if we were to get a points deduction potentially from the outcome of that trial, with it being May next year, it wouldn't be until next season.
Okay, fair enough. This is from Sean. We don't do playoffs, Mr. Leafield, in League Two. We win titles. And he's quite right on that one. So, and I'll give you this one. This is from Martin. 2 more cup wins would be worth $1 million if we get the right draws. Draw at Old Trafford, beat them at home, then draw Spurs or Arsenal away. Now, the thing is, Johnny, I know it's my years as a reporter, you troll around the lower league grounds and then occasionally you pull out a plum draw at somewhere like the new Tottenham Stadium in round 3. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, for goodness sake. But that would be terrific, wouldn't it? Somewhere like that is a lovely thing to look forward to over Christmas, should we manage to get past Walsall.
Yeah, I mean, as the cliche goes, let's not look too far, but we're football fans. We're allowed to. It's the players who want around Walsall. When we get Liverpool away or Man United away, that will be, like, in all seriousness, that will be probably one of the best moments of my life if I get to do that, because, like, again, you don't need to milk the point, but, like, I'm a town fan doing the job, covering town everywhere. Like, this is one of my dream jobs. If I get to watch Swindon, I mean, if we get Man United at Old Trafford, it's a done deal. Let me tell you that. That's easy win.
We'll only get 1,500.
Provided Knowledge still in charge, then we can win that. But no, like, I fairly often I'll dream about looking over to my left or right and seeing like 4,000 or 5,000 town fans, like just screaming, chanting stuff at a big Premier League ground, and that would just be like, that would be awesome. So yeah, we can hope, and I'll hope you do your job at Walsall, and then I'll look forward to that draw like I've never looked forward to anything in my life.
I can tell you something though, just to let you know, the standard of catering goes up very much in the Premier League as it did in the lower league. So look forward to a very nice lunch, and let's hope the draw's not on ITV gone 10 o'clock at night like it was last time, which went on forever and ever. And basically, most of us were asleep, I think, weren't they, when that happened? Liam, I mean, where are we at now with this season? We've had a terrific first part of it, and we're trying to review, what's been good, what's not so good. Obviously, the home form hasn't been so good. What's been your experience of getting in the ground? Because a lot of people have really struggled to get in the ground.
I've been over the years notorious for getting into the ground at 1 minute to kick off. This year, I've been turning up a little bit earlier, because otherwise it will be 5 or 10 minutes after kick-off if I turned up at the same time. So I've just accounted for that a little bit easier. I think what's also happening is let's be honest, we're all social distancing as well as we're in the queue, and so the queues look a bit bigger, I think, because we're not on top of each other. That's my little thought about that. I think it's all part of the atmosphere. We've all got to get there a bit earlier. I don't pick up anything that the turnstiles are running any slower than they have been in previous years. So I don't know if that's a reason. I'll tell you what's really nice is, come on, we're getting 9,000 every match.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
When 2 years ago, even under Wellens, we were getting 7s, weren't we? So there's a real difference now. And I think that's what we're not used to. Because the last few years, it's been, back to DeCanio's eras when we were getting these numbers.
Yeah, and I think also... I guess the disappointment was we beat Scunthorpe away, and then we come back and we play Cambridge, Carlisle at home, I think it was, wasn't it? And then we lose, and then you've got a huge crowd, like you're saying. And Town do this a lot, don't they? They get big crowds and then don't quite get the result that they need. How were you feeling that day? Because everybody was on a high that day, weren't they, going into that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I came out of that game thinking Carlisle will be one of the favourites to go up. Yeah. What they've imploded since.
Yeah.
They mullered as well, didn't they? They stopped us, they controlled us, and they got the 2 breaks, didn't they? And that guy up front, I've forgotten his name, but he dominated. He bossed the game. Their striker, the one that scored. Did he score both, or did he score one and make one?
Johnny's thinking. We'll get the answer from him in a minute. Look at it. Look at the bulb go on. Look.
I think we should try and get him in January, or we'll talk about that later if we've got time. But I think he to me was very impressive, and the sort of guy that leads a line with that Tyree could learn from.
Let's talk about Tyree Simpson, James, because I'm absolutely chuffed a little what's-it that he's getting goals now, because my goodness me, as I've said many times before, he works his socks off and he's got stick from the crowd. I don't know why. He's 19, for goodness sake. He's going to be an absolute monster when he gets older, isn't he? Let's be fair. And he is getting the goals that he deserves now.
I think he's gradually improved as the games have gone on this season, to be honest. I must admit, I can't lie. I was worried at the beginning of the season when I first saw him. I thought, not sure if he's going to be able to score us the goals we need. And obviously, with him being the primary striker, I was thinking, I really don't know if we're going to be able to score enough goals here. But actually, every game I've seen him, both home and away, he's improved week on, week in, week out. And I think one of the things I was struggling a bit at the beginning of the season was he's a big guy, he's built very, very well. And okay, he's only 19 years old, but he didn't seem to be bullying centre backs particularly well, or holding the ball up. I guess it's because he's 19 and he's probably never ever played. Well, he hasn't. He won't have played against Leeds U centre backs before. But I think he's learned very quickly by all accounts, and he's holding the ball up better now. He's out muscling them. And obviously he's scoring goals, which is not, you can't ask much more from a forward. But I do feel sorry for him because 19 years old, and he does know that fans are criticising him, because he's mentioned a few times in interviews and things that actually he doesn't pay. He's seen all the negativity about him, but he just keeps on working. But it can't be good for someone that's 19 to be reading things like that, and it's not great. And from a trust perspective, we love it because we sponsor him, and we sponsor Mccurdy as well. So we definitely picked 2 good players there to sponsor the season.
Yeah, interesting. It was interesting, wasn't it, Johnny, at Oldham, when he got those goals? He didn't go to the crowd, did he? He went to the corner where the crowd weren't, and celebrated with the players. And it was almost, well, there you go. I mean, that's how I felt. What did you think?
What was he went to the camera and not to no one because he knows where the camera is.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't see the camera.
Rob, the photographer, says he's his dream. He knows where he is all the time. Yeah, I mean, Tyrese. He's been a sort of a conversation almost every day when I go into the office. There's a few guys that in advertising, and I like to talk to them about it. And I feel like they perhaps echoed a lot of the town fans, the general mood. It was a case of like, at first everyone wasn't so sure about him, and you're thinking, oh, is he kind of, are we going to score enough goals? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like he's 19. I don't know what people expect. I just, he's not. Yeah, like James said, he's definitely got better, and he's learning. It's like you have to trust Garner in certain things like this. They brought him on. He says he will get better. He has got better. So there's a bit of you can kind of trust him when he says something now. I also think it was that Oldham game. He wasn't really in the game, to be honest.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Nothing. And then he scored. It was a bit scruffy, but he bundled it home. And then
he'd had a couple of chances before that, if you remember. Yeah.
You could see the switch. You could literally see the switch in him. Like that second goal. Okay, it was horrific defending, but he made that happen. And then was it the Crewe game? What was the game after? Was it Crewe? You can just see he's playing with confidence. When he wasn't doing those things that we know he's capable of, it's because he's 19 and he hasn't got experience to fall back on. So he's literally playing off. He's playing off confidence. He's playing off emotion right then. When the confidence is really like kind of flowing through his veins, you can tell what a player he is. He won't. He'll dip up. He'll dip down and he'll come back up. But he's 19. He's played 20. I think he's played 20. Something like 22 professional games. That's still not a lot. Like, give him a break. Like, he's, just, he scored 6-7 goals?
7. Well, yeah, 7. And I was thinking about it. I'm comparing him with Jerry Yates, which is, I don't know whether that's fair or not, but Jerry Yates didn't get his 10th goal of the season until quite late towards Christmas, if I remember rightly, on a very cold day at Grimsby. I mean, he's on target, if you think about it, for 20 goals a season, isn't he? He gets to 10 goals by Christmas. He's on target for 20 a season. I mean, what more do you want?
I think he's a raw striker, isn't he? Of which he's late to football because he was playing rugby, wasn't he, at school?
Yeah.
And you can see that. You imagine him running towards you.
No, I'd get out of the way, quite frankly, Liam. Yeah.
And so that's what I mean about getting an experienced striker next to him. To learn the ropes for the second half of the season, I think it'll be devastating. And Ipswich will be really happy because they've got a good player back. Yeah,
I can only imagine what Doyle would do alongside him. We'll see. Right, let's have a look. This is from Stephen. The present ownership and CEO have been brilliant, but are there any things they can improve on? Liam, what would you say would be top of your Christmas present list? I mean, mine would be the shop. I have to say, the shop definitely needs sorting out. I hate to go on about Exeter, but their shop is full of stuff. You go to the game, it's full of people. Before the game, it's full of people after the game. Our shop, not so good. I know they're going for a new retail manager and assistant manager, so things are in progress. But what about you?
I think you're right. I think the pre-match experience. Why do we all arrive so late? Because we're in a pub or we're somewhere else. If there was decent beer, there was a nice vibe, then maybe we might get to the club a bit earlier rather than spend it in the town in the pubs. So there's those sort of things. There's a bit more about bringing the families in. Didn't we had the kids at the last home game, didn't we? It's about bringing them a bit more in. I remember I used to when my kids were younger, I'd bring. My son still comes when he's not working, but. We brought our kids with us because the tickets were free or the tickets were cheap. So we've got to look at that, I think, about how we develop the club, how can we get our 10 and 11-year-olds around Wiltshire to be town fans and not supporting Chelsea or Man City. Or if they do like Chelsea and Man City, that town are their main team. And they also like Chelsea and Man City as well. So I think that's the stuff we need to do. If people are just turning up at 4:55 for the game and then they're leaving at 4:45, and they're not spending much money, then the club aren't making. I mean, Man United make a fortune, don't they, from all the stuff that they sell, the whole experience. You talked about that earlier.
I mean, that's my point, I think, because if you take a kid to a game and they've enjoyed the game, whatever the result, it's a great experience. They go away and what do they want to do? They want to go in the shop and buy something, don't they? So I think that's important. James, what do you know? I mean, the club are working hard to get that right, aren't they? And sort things out, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, there's so much work going on behind the scenes that, I mean, obviously you've got the minutes on the website of the, of the meetings and what have you, but there's so much other things going on as well. I mean, both the official supporters club and the trust are working with Matt, the general manager, and Danny, and obviously Rob, etc., on a number of initiatives. So to take, Liam's point about the tickets, the club are being very generous with allocating banks of, lots of tickets for games, and the trust are working with local schools to kind of give those out, try and get new fans in from local schools. So there's a lot of that going on, and we've seen a few games where there's been lots of children kind of attend, etc. So that's definitely happening. The whole retail side, they got left with a lot of issues previously in terms of Puma didn't really want to supply us with anything because we owed them lots of money. Which is one of the reasons why, obviously, there was only limited number of shirts in the club shop. So our credit facility with various suppliers was extremely poor. So, naturally, the shop's been a little sparser probably than it would have been. But they do need to put some work in there. I know, obviously, they are looking for a new retail person. But I think there's so many other things going on that are just really, really good news. The fan engagement stuff, there's lots of work going on there. There's going to be some communications over the next few days, or this week anyway, about some new ways that fans can engage with the club through socials and through email and various other things to try and get better, quicker responses to questions and issues and things. Because we all know they've had issues with the phone lines and things and what have you. Although they have actually upgraded the phone lines now, and it tells you now when you're in a queue who's the next person in the queue and all that. The standard kind of call center stuff. Because you'd be in a queue and literally you haven't got a clue how many people are in front of you.
Yeah.
So they have invested in that. The tannoy system they continue to invest in. It does all need ripping out and starting again, but you can't do that halfway through a season.
No. And I think everybody appreciates that. They had a very limited amount of time pre-season to sort this out. And I think the entrance thing is another thing that they'll be working hard on when they get a pre-season. Lots of things coming in. So. This is from Tony on Tyree Simpson. He's got the support from the fans now. From Kevin, he puts a shift in, doesn't stop running all game. And that's something I've said about him all season. It looks tremendous in his work rate. And Kevin says, we could have had Brad Pittman. Discuss. Maybe Johnny has a comment on that at some point. What about you, Johnny? From a reporter's point of view, it's difficult because your match day experience is a little different to everybody else's, isn't it? You go in, you don't really do the fan thing. You go into the media room or whatever it is these days, and you go up to the back of the stand, sit there in the cold, type away, all that kind of stuff, and then you go and talk to the managers and players afterwards. So have you noticed anything of the match day experience, or are you too tied up with what you're doing?
Yeah, the queues to get in the media box are just ridiculous. No, not really. No, I don't know. I've kind of been unlucky to not have to sort of deal with these issues because I've kind of get there at like 1:30ish and go and see Marion, have a chat about a cup of tea, and then kind of go up and you do the game. And by the time I've left, I'm usually the last one in the car park. So I don't know. Like in terms of what I think they could do better, I don't know. I think we were kind of in a there's I feel like they're doing so much right. It feels harsh to say what they could do better, but they've got a list as long as the pitch of things that they've got. We'll get to it. I think people have got patience, but in terms of if they could get the media box a little like Plymouth's, and I'm sorry to bring that up, Vic, but Plymouth is a magnificent. It's an amazing setup. They've got screens up there, which for League 1 and 2 you just don't get. You get their replays. You get like they brought us a Cornish pasty last time I was down there for the EFL show. It was amazing. Not Ginsters though.
No,
bit of a sore subject. I won't bore you with the story behind that, but no. Plymouth's the kind of the go-to, and Andrew sort of joke. I think they did actually go down there and say take some
They mentioned that when Rob and Danny were on the other day, that they'd taken it because of the superstore and all that kind of thing. One story about
the thing that don't want to be their cheerleaders, but they are genuinely working really hard about things. Like, even they're not just, it's not lip service. Rob's writing everything down that everyone says, and he's a fan as well, so he wants to get it right because he knows how much it means to everyone. So I just say to everyone, like, if we could just have a bit of patience, because this is no quick fix. Okay, things are going really well on the pitch, but off the pitch, the structure and all that business, that's going to take years to sort everything out to kind of the standard that they'd like it.
There was one story about one of my reporters when I was sports producer in Devon at the start of a new season in Plymouth. The old boxes there, I don't know if you probably didn't know them, but they used to have the old boxes, and he went to get in and plug the radio equipment in, and it was full of flies, and it took him an hour and a half to get the flies out. So it's not always been great at Plymouth, I can assure you. But anyway, they've done a tremendous job on that newsstand, and it's a shame they get wet at the front, really, isn't it? When they're losing. Let's see. Walsall. This is from Kevin. The panel's thoughts on the Walsall game, Liam. Lovely draw. We're going to see Matt Taylor again, which is great. He was fantastic at Swindon, wasn't he? What are your thoughts on that one?
I'd like to have played Walsall a couple of months ago when they were struggling.
Yeah, they've hit form, haven't they? Yeah.
They've turned around a little bit. It's going to be a cup game. We're playing away from home. We're better than we are at home. We'll be in yellow because they'll be in red. So all the things are working for us. If we can get more than 1,500 there, it'll be a cracking afternoon. I think we can do it. I really think we can do it. And you heard, God, Dion's only 25, 26? Yeah. And the maturity of what he was saying there, they want to win a cup. They don't only win a cup, they want to progress. And they're ambitious. And that's great to see. Really, really impressed with that.
Yeah, and he's had such a tough time of it. And, I keep on saying he's a bit of a Rolls-Royce footballer when he's on song, isn't he? And, he's just so controlled and calm at the back. He looks terrific. From Kev, what's happening at the Stratton Bank? There's another one here about the shares, James. Time's running out. But from Tony, can you explain how the shares would work? You mentioned them earlier with regard to the ground. Yeah. Are they formal, official? How would they work?
Yeah, they will be. We're actually putting a kind of pack together, so we will be issuing that to fans to show them how it's going to work. But fans will be able to purchase shares ultimately in the actual ground purchase. So yeah, I don't want to. They're still kind of formulating the last parts of it, so I'd rather not say it and get it wrong now. But all I will say is that certainly it will be released in the next few weeks in order for fans to know what they can do. But it'll be a simple process. You'll purchase a share essentially in the ground, and obviously all the information will be released on it. But I think it's a great opportunity really for the fans to kind of be able to purchase that piece of the county ground really. And we're looking at all other, lots of different things like, the kind of whole stadium bricks thing that other clubs have done, where ultimately if you buy a part of the ground, you get your name in badge and, you can put on the wall and, I own this bit of the county ground kind of thing. There's lots of nice things that we can do like that. So, we just need to formulate the final parts of it and get it out to fans so they know. But fans don't get worrying. You will be able to buy a part of the county ground. So,
and the Stratton Bank, what's happening with that? There's some details about this in the last advisory board minutes, I understand it, and just an indication of a determination. The advisory board minutes are written up by the CEO himself.
They are.
So, So, what time does Rob Angus actually go to bed? About 3:03, and then get up at 3:02? Is that how it works for him? I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it? In the morning, I mean, he works his socks off, doesn't he?
He does. He puts an awful lot of hours in, Rob. And I don't think what fans realise is that, as well as working in the office all kind of week, obviously when we're playing, he's at the games as well. So, literally, I think he's having like a day off a week at the moment, which is largely Sunday. But yeah, he's working so hard. I mean, I spoke to him a couple of times, and he's been dashing from here to there. And obviously, Clem calls him in quite a lot.
He never sleeps, does he?
4 hours a day. So I think he's kind of on call a little bit as well. But I think from the Stratton Bank perspective, we're waiting for some final quotes to come back for the modernisation of the toilets on the bank. We're waiting for several quotes just to kind of look at which one is the best. then ultimately they'll look to kind of, we'll look to refurbish the whole the bank, and there's a bit of sponsorship in there potentially as well from the trust and a local company as well to try and help with some of the costs of that. So we're just waiting for those final quotes to come back. But there will
we
be.
Put a canvas roof on it, James?
Have we, or can we?
No, could we? Could we?
I believe there's all sorts of options that they're kind of looking at.
As I understand it, it's always been to do with ancient lights of the houses behind it, isn't it?
That's been the issue. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of what the actual final solution will look like, I think that's still work in progress. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is make it habitable and usable, because it hasn't been used for so many years properly, if you like. The turnstiles don't work. Where have we heard that one? On the turnstiles, by the way, before I forget, they are upgrading the software. They are upgrading them and doing lots of work on it. So hopefully that should help with the kind of queues and what have you. But the bank will get the toilet block sorted, the facility sorted, and a few other bits and pieces, basically to make it as best as it can be. And then ultimately, once the counter ground purchase goes through, we can look at what that long-term solution looks like in terms of the plans. But as I understand it, it will be one of the first parts of the ground that will get money spent on it, along with the town end.
Okay, lovely. Right, let's quickly go around about Saturday then. We go to the land of my fathers, to Wales, and visit Newport County. Get your passports ready. Johnny, what do you think? I mean, it's a toughie. They're in the top 7 as well. Always been traditionally a bad place for Swindon to go to. What are your thoughts about Saturday?
I think, I'd say probably my thoughts about Newport probably echo my sentiments about Walsall. Yes, they're in decent form. They've had a bit of a revival. But I think if Town are at their best and they play the way they're capable of, they can win that game. It'll be, I think, because there's always that historical kind of fear about Newport. We rarely do that well there. It's kind of like a nasty one usually. That'll be an indicator. If we're able to win that, then that'll be an indicator that we're still heading in the right direction and the break hasn't really harmed us. Because obviously that break didn't, the break that we're kind of in right now, hasn't. I don't think it really came at the best time. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But that basically we'll find out on Saturday. So. You remain hopeful.
No H. Mccurdy, of course, Liam. There are rumours he might be with the away fans. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but how do you view it?
I gather since Flynn's gone, they're actually starting to play football, which is quite helpful. And a couple of colleagues of mine are Newport fans, though I think they're going to be watching Wales-Australia because that's on Saturday afternoon, the rugby. So they're going to be concentrating on that rather than the match. I think we'll do it. I think we will. I think, we've lost far too many times at Newport. I think it'll be 2-1.
Right. Okay.
Be interesting to see who's up front instead of Mccurdy. Really, I suppose it'll be Mitchell Lawson, won't it? Because he looks so good against Newport's old players, as opposed to our youngsters against them last week.
Yes. We'll remember that social media picture, won't we, of one H. Mccurdy and former Newport player. James, your prediction for Saturday?
Yeah, no, I'm going and looking forward to it. Actually, I think I agree with Liam. I think we'll win. I think Mccurdy, not having Mccurdy is not so great, but I think we've got a couple of other good players that have played well in the other games when they've come in. So I think I think it'll be a 1-0 or 2-0 away win.
And Jay Williams, of course, returning to Wales, so he'll get a bit of a reception, won't he? Gentlemen, sorry,
he was born in Kent.
Yeah, I know, but he played for Wales. So we'll let him off.
He's got the right
gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Liam, thank you. Did you enjoy it?
I did, thank you. You were very gentle with me, Vic. Thank you.
I won't be so next time then, in that case. Marvellous. Chris, there you are. And just to remind you that if you wanted to go to Newport, I know SAS are still looking for people, if they want to go, to get in touch with SAS Travel as quickly as possible. And they are open between 7 and 8 tomorrow night in their office behind the town end. Or you can get hold of them with details that are available on the Supporters Club website, I do believe. So if you want to get in touch with them, they are looking for people, but get in touch as quickly as possible, as I understand it. Chris?
Oh, you're on mute, Chris.
Turn yourself on.
I'll just talk to myself. I know. Thank you very much, everybody. That was brilliant. Thank you for that. Just a couple of bits from me. On Saturday, the Australian Official Supporters Club, as you probably know, we've got together with Australia supporters, and they're affiliated with us now. So they are having a question and answer session with Clem. It's at 11:30 our time on this stream, so you'll be able to pick it up here. And I think, James, you're also involved in that, aren't you, my love? So, yeah, so James will be on there. And I think Pete from the Supporters Club is as well. So anybody who can get in that before they go to Newport, or anybody that's not going to Newport, please have a look at that. And just to reiterate, if anybody is going to Newport, the situation with the COVID passports, you need your digital paper copy of your QIR codes for your vaccinations, or proof of a recent negative lateral flow test. So that'll be your email from the NHS where you've reported it to. That's because any group of over 4,000 people, they're doing checks. They did say it was only spot checks, but the advice is get there early because it will sort of hamper people getting in. So get there as early as possible. So thank you very much for watching. I didn't think we were going to be here next week, but we've actually now got Andrew Steele Davis is joining us next week for an On the Sofa. So all the communication that's coming out on Twitter and Facebook at all times of the day and evening, you can ask Andrew all about that and what his job involves. So he'll be joining us.
And how difficult it is to deal with Johnny Leafield as well. It must be a nightmare.
I'm a dream. I am a dream.
Nightmare? Is that Johnny? No dream. Sorry.
After that sentence, I can't comment.
Okay, so that's next week. So everybody have a good week. Enjoy Newport if you're going. If not, tune into BBC and listen to Andrew. And we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.